also basketball. A lot of great basketball players out of this place.
A whole lot of talented basketball players all around North Texas. Seriously, shout out to all of them. Shout out to everybody, like I said, who's watching the draft and maybe have friends that got drafted. So congratulations.
And shout out to you because you get a little CA Stories Confidential.
Well, let's do that. Hey, appreciate you, Reg. Appreciate you, Larry. More importantly, I appreciate all the Tolos and all the people who listen to me tell some of these stories and all the things that have happened to me covering sports since 1980 here in North Texas, K104, Down the Dial Ticket, and 105.3 The Fan. Appreciate all the love. And here's a story I've told before, but I find it, I always tell people, you are around for greatness if you were alive while Tiger Woods was playing golf, or if you were at an event where something incredible happened, whether it was an incredible play or incredible victory, or a championship was won, you were there. And there are Cowboy fans to this day who weren't alive the last time they won a Super Bowl. I mean, I just throw that out there because when something special happens, like the Mavericks run to the finals, the Stars run to the Western Conference Finals, you got to appreciate those moments. And even like Kyrie, the left-handed shot over.
Buddy.
Man, you were there in the building too.
I still can't believe it.
This is against the Denver Nuggets. He did it against Jokic, the MVP. It was an incredible play. So I was thinking about, just last fall, a lot of people were at Globe Life Field in the World Series Game 1, where Corey Seager hit the home run that tied the game in the World Series in the 9th inning, and of course the Rangers won in the extra inning. But they're like, it was a rocket, and he was like, yes, he showed some emotion, and people will remember that because they were there.
Yeah.
So I've been fortunate enough over all these years covering Super Bowls, World Series, NBA Finals, World Cup, Stanley Cup, all the boxing matches, everything, all these moments. And then there's several Michael Jordan moments that I've been in person for. And I'm going to talk about this one because there's a couple of layers to it. And I thought about doing this because they showed a commercial, or they showed a promo for the NBA draft, and they were showing like all these different moments in NBA history, and they were showing Michael Jordan not doing a dunk. And I was there for the iconic dunk contest between him and Dominique Wilkins in Chicago. I was there for that, and that was one of the most amazing. I was there when Vince Carter did the solo dunk. I thought that was the best dunk, NBA All-Star dunk ever. I was there when Kobe won the slam dunk. And I was there, of course, when Michael Jordan won all 6 of his titles. I was at every single one of them. But the highlight they showed is one of his greatest moves ever, which was not even a dunk. And to remind everybody, it was when he's going in for the dunk, and he switches hands, and I always show this slow motion, and he makes an under the basket layup. And it was all in one move. Let me set the stage. This was the NBA Finals, the Bulls taking on the Los Angeles Lakers, which was the first time they ever went to the finals and won the championship. Against the Lakers, Magic had a hamstring injury, so he wasn't 100%. And I'm not saying that's why the Lakers lost, but that's why I think it was a sweep. I want to say the Bulls swept them, or it was a gentleman's sweep. You can look that up for me.
I will.
But it was a Chicago stadium. I've been covering the NBA Finals for over a decade at that point, or more than 10 years, or eight years.
And your memory's spot on. Gentleman's Suite, 4-1.
There you go. So I was like, I knew back then, because there was no internet, the writers, the beat writers, or the main writers who sit on the front row, courtside, in the fourth quarter, they're not sitting there. Quite a few of them, they're in the back on a typewriter in the press room. And I would always, they'd have broadcast media and international media. Oh, we're sitting up in the press box up high. And I'm like, I got to sit down low. And I knew the NBA's senior vice president of communications, Brian McIntyre, and he'd always say, Chris, you can't be down here. And I'm like, well, it would look bad on TV with the empty seats. And so he just
I'm helping you out, honestly.
You don't have the empty seats right here on courtside. And I name a name. Well, Jack is writing his column. Jack McCollum's writing his column. He's in the back. He ain't missing his chair. He's not coming back out here for the last 2 minutes. So second half of the game, I'm down there because I've been watching. I've been searching for a seat. Just, you know how people do in the regular stands.
Yeah.
They're looking down. I say, hey, ain't nobody down low.
Yeah,
I'm gonna come on down here.
I've been here for about 3 innings, and that seat's empty. So I feel like I can go down there and sit there.
So I'm doing this with the press seats on the courtside. So I sit down in my seat, and I'm sitting in front of Spike Lee and Denzel Washington. Spike Lee is directing Malcolm X, and Denzel Washington is playing Malcolm X.
That's right.
And Spike and Denzel are wearing, at the time, this was the hat that everybody wanted. It was just the X on it.
Yeah.
And that was the hat. I was like, whoa, I got to get me an X hat. So they're there. The movie hadn't come out yet. They're like, you know, in between scenes or breaking the action or whatever, breaking the filming. And they're at the game. And I'm sitting in front of them. And Michael Jordan makes the move. He comes into the paint. He goes in like he's going to dunk on his former North Carolina teammate, Sam Perkins. And then he switches hands and he comes underneath. And I mean, there was a pregnant pause in that building and it just erupted like they had won the championship right there. No, that's not what happened. It was just Jordan made an incredible move. And I turned around to Spike Lee and Denzel Washington. And by the way, Spike Lee had done a bunch of TV commercials with Michael Jordan where he plays Mars Blackman, and Michael Jordan is Michael Jordan. Mars Blackman was a character in one of his early movies.
Yes.
And he always called Michael Jordan Money. He said, money, is it the shoes? Is it the shoes? Is it the shoes? So I turned around to Spike and I said, is it the shoes? And he just slowly shook it. He said, no, that's that MFer. Except for he didn't use the short version.
Yeah, I imagine he didn't. And
he was just grinning and he's just grinning. And then Sam Perkins is a longtime friend of mine. He's my frat brother. And he was former Maverick. I've been knowing Sam since he got drafted. And I was talking about this not during the series, but I talked about it years later. I was BSing with him. I said, Sam, I said, Mike did that move on you. I said, you know, he goes, man, he had to make that move. I forced him into that move. I said, what are you talking about? He said, man, I practiced with that MFer.
Yeah. I appreciate that. All these years
at Carolina, I know what he's going to do. He wasn't going to dunk on me. I knew what he was trying to do. He had to make that move. I forced him into his greatness. And we just laughed. I mean, it was too funny the way Sam broke it down that way. Of course, after the game, Mavericks or the Bulls won that game, in the press conference and stuff back there, everybody's like, Mike, was that your greatest shot? Was that the greatest move? He said, and I don't even know. What were you thinking? Can you describe what was going on in your head when you made that move? He said, I just did it on the fly. I saw a defender right there. It was Sam, and I just adjusted accordingly. And he shook his head like, you know, you saw The Last Dance, with like he's looking at that tablet, and he goes like, yeah. And that's when I took it personal. So that every time they show that, I always think about where I was. I was right there courtside, sitting in front of Spike Lee and Denzel Washington, and Money made that move. MJ made that move. And was it the shoes? No, it was that mofo.
Look, I mean, even this many years afterwards, that really is the best explanation for it, right? There's not really a better explanation. That's just that dude. It's just him.
And again, I've seen a lot of, we mentioned the Kyrie with the one hand, left hand, and see, Kyrie, for those that thought, oh, he just threw it up there. No, Kyrie works on that.
Yeah.
Like Luka comes up with these crazy shots. He's always working just on. Kyrie does a lot of left hands. That's why he's held up his left hand after the shot, because that's in his arsenal. And that play was actually a designed play. So, again, I always think about all these different moments. Where were you? I'll give you one more.
Please do.
I'll never forget this. There was an all-star game, baseball all-star game. Nolan Ryan was pitching for the Rangers at the time, made the all-star team as a Ranger. And he used to play for the California Angels. And he comes out, the sun was setting. This was in Anaheim. They were Angels were hosting the game, whatever, the all-star game. He comes out and he's pitching to Bo Jackson. And Bo hits a home run off of him. I will never forget. But when he came out of when Nolan came in in relief because he wasn't starting the game, it was like John Wayne walked into the mountain. I mean, the whole place just went nuts. It's like, Nolan!
Right.
And then Bo Jackson lit him up. Just crazy. Man. I mean, I could go on and on these different moments where you are where you are when things. Oh, when Michael Irvin. Remember when the Cowboys were playing the 49ers, Candlestick? This is the year, Barry Switzer's first year. This is when the 49ers beat the Cowboys. And Troy Aikman says that was the game he's most proud of the team because they didn't quit fighting, even though they didn't win it. If they had won it, they'd go into the Super Bowl. 49ers won that game. Cowboys lost it. And at the end of this game, by the way, it was a whole bunch of stuff that they were throwing picks. It was just stupid stuff that was happening, fumbles. And the Cowboys were down to the 49ers, but they fought back. And it came down to a pass to Michael Irvin. Troy Aikman threw this bomb, and I was on the sidelines, right where Deion Sanders pass interference on Michael Irvin. He grabbed his arms. Refs didn't call nothing. Switzer loses his mind on the sideline, 15-yard penalty on Switzer, and they didn't win that game. But I was there, and I'll never get this because it was like Michael was running in slow motion because fourth quarter. It's like they weren't running like fast.
Right.
And it was perfectly timed pass. And Deion grabbed his arm.
Can I pause you right here? Because I feel like it's easy to not understand what you mean when you say it didn't feel like they were running fast. Because if you haven't been really close to a football game or a sporting event, if you watch it on TV, it's like, well, yeah. I mean, it doesn't feel like it's fast. It's a different level being on that field side.
Yeah, I was on the field.
And of course, like I haven't done that very much with football, with professional football, college football.
All the time.
I've done it a lot, and it's like, yo, this is different being like right here on the field. Like even that first row versus being on the field, feels just a little different. I'm not trying to like flex privilege or anything, but it's just like
different, and you can feel. First of all, the hits, you can hear them hit.
Yeah,
you can see the slob coming out their mouth, slobber knockers. All those things. I mean,
and so when you say that it felt like it really slowed down, like it means something. Yeah,
it really means something because they weren't going as fast as you normally see when you're on the sideline. It was like, but the pass wasn't like it was underthrown or it's like it's just the way the game was going, and not that they were tired, but shoot, I'll never forget. I was like, and then 1 year later, Jerry signs Deion. Deion plays for the Cowboys. They win the Super Bowl. That was the third and last Super Bowl this franchise has ever won. But I'll never forget, I was like, oh my God, it was so blatant. I mean, that was one of those pass interferences for real.
Yeah.
Give me a PI.
He got his money's worth out of it.
He sure did, and they didn't call nothing. As far as Deion's concerned, that never happened. And again, Michael don't hold it against it. It's called being competitive.
It is what it is.
It is what it is.
It is what it is.
And then I think a lot of people remember also, I'm trying to think of something even more recent where you're like, I was there and it was significant. I mentioned the Rangers World Series, a Stars game or something. I mean, this is all relevant, but always you want to be able to say you saw it, if not on television, but you were there in person. And if you're with family or friends, it's even more significant.
Yeah, because then it's a shared experience.
It's a shared experience.
Shared experience.
Yeah. So there you go.
And
CA Stories
it's one of the great things about CA Stories Confidential is that it becomes a shared experience with us, the listeners, as well. And we always appreciate you bringing that to us, CA.